What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. This is Danell Trains, where we talk all things health and fitness. And today I have a very important topic that I want to go over with you. And this is especially for you who are trying to lose weight and are having a tough time. It's how to deal with weight loss plateaus. I know these can be extremely discouraging, and even in some cases, I know in a lot of cases actually, it causes people to give up and only to restart months later. So I want to dig deep into this topic. Stay tuned. All right, thank you for staying tuned in. So if you're still here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can, know when I drop new videos, and you can just follow along on the journey. So let's kind of get into this. So what is a plateau? The way that I define it is when you're at the same weight or the same range of about 2 to 4 pounds for more than 2 weeks. So before that, I don't really consider it a plateau. Sometimes it's just a little bit of a stall because your body is really, just adjusting or just catching up. Especially if, you're somebody that has lost a lot of weight like really quickly. So let's say you start losing weight and in the first week you drop 5 pounds, second week you drop 6 or something like that. So you're down like 11 pounds in 2 weeks and you're like, wow, this is really moving. You're excited. Then all of a sudden that third week, you kind of stall out and maybe you lose maybe a few ounces, but you're kind of fluctuating between that 1 or 2 pounds. That is not a plateau. That's just your body, kind of, you know, resetting and catching up to what you're doing, because you've definitely shocked it if you went into a calorie deficit or you started exercising more, whatever it is you've done to start losing weight, your body is in a little bit of shock. So give it some time. Now, once you surpass that 2 weeks, that's when you're actually in a plateau. So we're going to get to that. But before we go there, I want to say the first thing that I talk to my clients about is, having an expectation of how many pounds they want to lose per week. And then that's how we kind of structure their plan. But for I know a lot of you may be doing this on your own, and you may not have, set your plan according to what you realistically would like to lose. So it's kind of like you're just doing maybe what you've seen from, another YouTuber on here, or just a program online, or you're just starting going to the gym or something like that. But you don't really have an expectation. You're just trying to lose weight. And this is where I say making sure that your expectations and your efforts are in alignment. Because if you're expecting to lose 2 pounds a week, well, then your effort level has to be at what will give you 2 pounds of weight loss a week. And that would mean creating a caloric deficit of around 7,000 calories per week. That's what will give you that 2 pounds of weight loss. But if it isn't there, or you're not tracking to see how close or how far away you are from that, then some things have to change. So that's the importance of tracking and logging, especially in the beginning, because you really don't know where you're at. And it's really hard to judge if you actually are putting in the effort for getting that, what your expectations are. So in some cases, you may have to dial it back some and say, okay, maybe I'm not able to commit to what I need to do in order to lose 2 pounds a week, but I can commit to what I need to do in order to lose 1 pound a week. And that makes all of the difference, because when your expectations are here and the results are somewhere around here, like you're getting them, but they're just not fast, that can still lead to discouragement. There have been plenty of people who have quit along the journey, and it's not because they really weren't getting results. It's just because the results were coming slower than they expected, and that just comes from a misunderstanding of what it really took for them to actually get these type of results, to meet the expectations that they had. So really, that to me is kind of like the foundation of this, because it's very mental as far as this whole journey. It's mental and emotional more so than it is physical, and establishing that expectation and a plan that will meet those expectations is really, the foundation of it, so that you don't get off on the wrong track. And oftentimes you may have to establish a plan and then kind of set your expectations based on that. Because if you have a very demanding job, or demanding, personal life, as far as like having family and other obligations, then you may not be able to just say, hey, I want to lose this. What do I need to do? And then craft a plan to meet those high expectations. You may have to say, realistically, what am I able to commit to? And then go into, all right, well, this is what the type of results I can expect each week. So that is what you should have already done prior to starting. So now let's say that you were past all of that, and it's been 2 weeks. You've been fluctuating, within 2 to 3 pounds for the last 2 weeks, and you can't seem to break that lower barrier. What is it that you need to do? Well, the first step, the first thing that I do with all my clients is we go over the checklist. So the checklist consists of 4 things that you have complete control over that have an impact on your weight loss. The first thing is your calorie budget. So are you, or whatever diet it is you're doing, whatever your plan is nutrition wise, are you complying with that plan? So what I do with all of my clients is we set a calorie budget. And this is based off of what they were eating prior, and we just lowered the calories. We lower the calories over time. So let's say that their calorie budget is at 1750. Are you complying with that on a daily basis? That's the first thing that we're gonna look at. Because if you're going over, or you're not tracking certain things, well, that's something that we need to tighten up. Okay. The next thing is sleep. Are you sleeping at least 7 hours a night? So looking at that, because that makes a big difference in terms of your hormones, in terms of your water retention, in terms of your energy and motivation, your metabolism, as far as like how you metabolize fat and how much you metabolize in terms of calories per day. It makes a big difference. So are you getting enough sleep on a nightly basis? Then the next thing is hydration, because dehydrated bodies do not lose weight. So are you drinking at least 50% of your body weight pounds in ounces of water? That is the goal I set for everybody that I work with. Really, the ultimate goal is to get to 60% of your body weight pounds in ounces of water. So that we look at that. Now, if you're not drinking that, okay, well, we need to go ahead and up that water intake. Maybe we need to set up some more accountability for that, so that you're able to hit those marks. Now, the fourth and final thing is your exercise. Are you moving enough? Are you getting in enough activity on a weekly basis to help create more of a caloric deficit? Because we know that that's what it comes down to is are you in a calorie deficit each week? So, and it may be with your exercise, are you not challenging yourself? Now, usually when it comes to the people that I work with, yeah, I have a progressive program for them. But you may not, if you're just following your own programming, or you're just going to the gym and say, hey, I just want to do something easy, or you're, during this time, if you're at home and you're just like, well, I just do, this, video every day, or 4 days a week. Well, you may need to increase the intensity of what you're doing, or change the modality of exercise that you're doing, type of exercise that you're doing, in order to, kind of give your system a little jolt, so to kind of jumpstart you back into weight loss. So that's the first thing that you want to do, is go over that checklist to see, number one, are you in compliance with your actual plan and the actually day-to-day goals that you have, in terms of creating habits that will lead to a healthy weight, that will lead to you not just losing weight, but also sustaining it. That is the first step. So let's say now that you have, you went through the checklist and everything looks good. You're complying with your nutrition plan, with your sleep plan, hydration, and exercise. All of those are going well. What do you do next? Well, this is where I like to say, you might just need to write it out. This is, probably the most unpopular answer that I can give you, but you may need to write it out. Sometimes, like I mentioned before, if you lose a lot of weight really fast in the beginning, or even if you haven't, there's still changes that are happening to obviously your body composition, the ratio of muscle and fat that your body has, which is going to affect your metabolism, which is going to affect your hormones. So there's a lot of moving parts to this internally, and this can cause your body to go through different things to where you may start to plateau a little bit, and it could be from water retention, it could be from just a lot of different things happening within your body that causes your weight to plateau. Now, this is where I also want to stress the importance of having more than one way to measure your progress. So you should also be doing circumference measurements. You should also be doing progress photos so that you cannot see progress in more than one way and not just the scale. All right. And then also, I don't want to, let this, go unmentioned, but in addition to the progress in terms of your body, but also your fitness, you should be measuring, like, are you getting stronger? Is your endurance improving, your stamina, all of these different things. So that have to do with your fitness, because if you're making progress there, then that's another indicator that you're on the right track. So, that was my quick little promotion for, measuring in more than one way, because that definitely makes a big difference. But you have you have to sometimes write it out, and it may be 2 weeks and one day, then you start to see the scale move back down. It may be, another week before you get movement. But if you're doing the right things, if you're everything that you've been that you planned, you're doing, then that is, you're going to get results. Sometimes you may see a little bit of a plateau, and that is okay. You have to ride that out, and that's why mentally you have to know that, okay, even if I didn't need to lose weight, these are things that I should be doing anyway, right? You want to take care of your body regardless of what the scale is telling you is happening. So if you, and that's the importance of choosing a diet plan or a nutrition plan. I don't even want to say diet, because that implies something that may not be sustainable. But choosing a nutrition plan that is sustainable for a lifetime, that won't cause you to feel restricted or unhappy because you're at a loss of what to do, or just feeling miserable about what you're not able to eat or what you are and all that stuff. So choosing that plan, getting into good sleep habits, making sure that you're hydrating, and finding a way to exercise that makes you feel good. That's the importance of this, because you may have to ride out this plateau, and it may take you more than 3 weeks. It may take you a month before you really start to see break that barrier and stay below it, and that's okay, because you're doing the right things. Okay, so I'm gonna move on from that, because I know that's not the most popular thing, but it certainly is something that you need to consider doing if you are in this situation right now. All right, so let's say that you're beyond the 2 weeks or even a month that you've been at the same weight range. What can you do? Okay, so this is where we have to go back to the basics in regards to your are you in a calorie deficit? So if you are, do you need to create a bigger deficit? So like I said, with the people that I work with, we lower their calories over time. So I want, if somebody, does like their, they record for me for a week and it looks like they've been eating around 2,300 calories daily, I don't just take them down to 1,500. I take them down incrementally. So it may be 250 calories to 300 calories a week, or every 2 weeks that I move them down. And for you, if you have decreased your calories, but do you still have room to go? Can you, can you go down to, if you're at 1750, can you go down to 1,500 and still be comfortable? Is a way for you to go down to 1,500 without feeling like you're starving, so that is the first thing that you can consider doing, is lowering those calories incrementally a little bit lower. That way you create more of a calorie deficit and you may start to see more downward movement. Now, on the opposite end of that, if you don't want to lower your calories, you say, my calories are already low enough, I'm having a tough time maintaining where I'm at, or I actually feel really comfortable and I know that if I go any lower in my calories that it will not be sustainable. Well, the other way to increase your calorie deficit is to increase the number of calories that you're burning. So this will be exercise. So increasing the intensity of your exercise, whether that's through longer duration, more frequency, more intensity in terms of the difficulty. So if it's, if you're doing more endurance or cardio based, can you increase your pace? Can you increase your speed at which you're running? Or if it's strength training, can you increase the volume of sets that you're doing? Can you increase maybe the percentage of weight that you're lifting from your 1 rep max, or whatever the case may be? Can you decrease your rest periods in between sets? So those are just some different ways that you can play with the intensity of your exercise that may create more of a calorie deficit. Now, then there's also choosing a different type or adding. So I'm somebody that really kind of defaults to strength training. So currently on my journey to reaching my fitness goals and aesthetic and weight loss goals, I added in more endurance based training in terms of cardio. So adding that in has made a big difference in how much progress I'm seeing on a weekly basis with my weight, with my appearance. So that is the other end of it, creating more of a calorie deficit through increasing the intensity of your exercise. Now, there are a few more things that I could go into, but those are a little bit more advanced and more commonly used for people when you're when you, not necessarily a weight loss goal, but maybe a body composition goal, and you're trying to get down to a lower percent body fat. But the one thing I will highlight is sometimes you may need to adjust your macronutrient intake. So if you don't know what macronutrients are, that's your proteins, carbs, and fats. Okay, so and in no way am I advocating a low carb diet, high fat diet, high protein, nothing like that. But I'm saying for you as an individual, this may be something that you want to experiment with if you are not, if you're hitting that plateau or you're just overall seeing very slow progress. Now you may want to experiment with decreasing your the grams of carbohydrates that you're taking in and increasing the grams of protein that you're intaking. So that may cause a shift. You may want to look at increasing maybe your carbs and decreasing your fat intake. So and that could be like if you're doing more endurance, maybe increasing your carbs, decreasing your fat could really help in terms of your performance, which will help you to increase the intensity and you can burn more calories, therefore creating a bigger calorie deficit and seeing more downward movement on the scale. So, experimenting with your macronutrients can be something that also helps you to break a plateau if you're currently in one. Now, that does cause for you to be very diligent in terms of tracking and even what tools you use to track. So, that's another step to this. If you're able to even commit to that level of attention to detail when it comes to the tracking portion, then also the meal preparation portion. That's why I say it is a little bit more advanced, because you will have to put more thought into how you plan out your meals for each day, and what that's gonna look like. It's not just as simple as making sure that you're finding foods or meals that will keep you within your calorie budget. It's, hey, okay, this meal, like, even though these meals fit within my calorie budget, I want to make sure that I can lower my carbs and increase my protein. So I need to take this out and add more of this in. So it can get quite tedious in that way, but that is an experiment that's worth doing if you are having a challenge with being in a plateau or just really slow progress. So those are the main ways that you can deal with breaking a weight loss plateau. It's just really knowing your plan and being able to make those adjustments if, number one, you aren't in compliance, or number two, you just need to create more of a calorie deficit in some form or fashion. So I hope this helps you. If you got something on this video, make sure you hit the thumbs up button below. Again, click the subscribe and the post notification bell so you can know whenever I drop a new video. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you in the next video.